Actually. 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 Welcome back to the second episode of Actually Ashley.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
DJ
Show
Envy
one
noise.
was a hit.
A
Show
hit?
Show two is gonna be even better. What we're gonna talk about today is really interesting. Today's show is entitled "Actually, That's Just My Baby Daddy."
Come on. I don't have a baby daddy for the record. Oh, wow.
All right, just a snippet, because we ain't got no money out here. Anyway, we're gonna reveal today's show co-host. We're gonna start with Chris. Chris, say hello to the people.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
And then we have, episode 2. Are you really a show regular at this point?
I don't know. I asked, was I going to be on the shows? And you said no.
Anyway, welcome to the show, Bradford.
Hey, I'm Bradford Dion of the Houston Deons. Nice to meet you people.
Oh, my God. Okay. So, there are actually 2.5 things I want to cover in today's episode.
2.5.
Right. Because the first two are kind of like go hand in hand. So it's like what makes co-parenting difficult and what makes it work. And then if we have time, we're going to dive into child support.
Dum, dum, dum.
So I'm just going to start by saying that I am in a co-parenting situation. It has been...
Shout out to Aiden.
Shout out to Aiden.
That's who we shouting out today.
We shouting out the kids?
Just the kids.
Shout out to my son Aiden. What's up?
Yeah.
He better not be watching. So my co-parenting situation has been great sometimes, has been not great sometimes, and I feel like now we've kind of figured out what works and what doesn't work. What I have found in non-working situations is that either parent struggles from one of the following: hating the other parent, which is just low-key loving the person and hating that you can't be with the person.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting
There's
perspective.
a sense of resentment,
Okay.
bitterness, distrust, which was really big for me initially because when I had my baby, he was so young, he would have to go with his dad for these extended times. And I'm like, do you know what you're doing?
Nope.
No.
I
See,
don't.
you don't? He didn't either.
That exists.
Luckily, Aiden will be celebrating his 9th birthday. He's still alive.
He made it.
And then unfairness. That will kind of, throw salt in the game because there's never, no matter how well you co-parent, it's never, in my opinion, a true 50-50 situation. It may be 70-30. It may be close to 50 as, you want it to be, but it's just never equal.
90-10.
So let's speak on the difficulties. Chris, our resident baby daddy, not to be confused with my baby daddy, though, because I don't want no shit. So you want to break down like your co-parenting experience?
All right, so my co-parenting experience is quite different from a lot of other situations. Me and my child's mother did not have a relationship part of it once the child came. We specifically only co-parented from day one. So for us, it's literally been only co-parenting. And it was difficult initially because there was still like the residue of the relationship there. But as time progressed, it got a little bit easier because we were able to communicate and we had a simple vision. I think a lot of people run into a lot of issues when they go back and forth because you're trying to mix the relationship part of it with the parenting part and you get the feelings involved and it's a lot of confusion and then everything else on your list then starts to become a factor too.
So like when I meet somebody, if I'm trying to talk to somebody or we're like dating or whatever, they are one of the first questions they always ask me like, you still fool with your baby daddy? And I have never understood that question because I'd be like, nah, bro, we over it. Like, well, I don't want to go.
That's because some people go back and dip
that.
in the sauce.
Yeah.
No, the sauce is sour. The milk's gone
But
bad.
in a lot of cases,
Yeah.
it's not sour though.
And sometimes they have sweet and sour sauce.
I like that.
It's sour when you want it to be sour. It's sweet when you want it to be sweet. I think that's why people ask the question. But I digress.
I mean, are people really just out here dipping and dabbing with that baby mama and baby daddy?
What?
People get lonely, and you go back to your baby.
You already had a relationship with that person. Why not?
No, but it's over. It's a wrap.
I attribute it to the situation where you'll have young ladies who are out and about, they're dating, and they don't necessarily want to, be spreading themselves too thin. So they go back to a past boyfriend, even though.
But see, that
dating.
makes me feel like the reason y'all are apart is not a solid reason. When I left my situation, I knew for a fact, 100%, I was never, ever, ever going back. There wasn't. I mean, initially there was a lot of bitterness and resentment. I mean, I've passed that or whatever, but even to this day, like, we're in a space where we can talk and maybe even shed a ha or two, but I never will ever go back to that in any capacity, not dating, not sexually.
But I think
not
that's
a person
level,
I would ever confide in.
That's a level of maturity that you have, and I don't think that that's the norm either.
And because you had that level of maturity and you execute like that, you're more likely to have like a successful co-parenting situation without all of the extra drama. Because when you mix in that,
no, let's not be confused. There is drama. There's just not relational drama between the two parents. Like, I have some situations, a baby mama or a baby daddy may make it difficult to co-parent or to coexist because the two of them have beef. I ain't got no beef with my baby daddy.
Right.
I mean, he's not, my favorite person in the world, but I mean, I don't don't like him.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. That's just me. So what do you find makes co-parenting work? And don't say the opposite of everything.
Communication. Being able
that's number one on the list.
Yeah, being able to actively communicate with the person. And from a male perspective, doing what you say that you're going to do. So if you...
Come on, amen to the truth, Chris. Can you just say that one more time?
All right, so communication is number one. And then as a man, doing what you say you're going to do. Because in our position, like, we are not, like, resident with the kid all the time. We're not always in the home. So if it's like, if I say, hey, I'm going to come pick her up for swim practice or whatever the case may be, like, actively being able to do that and hold yourself accountable.
And to do it on time.
Yeah.
Like, if you say you're going to be there at 7, be there at 7.
I mean,
Because if you pull up at 7:30 and I'm not there, you can't be mad at me because does my clock stop because you late?
But if you communicate that you're going to be a little bit late, hey, now.
Yes, communicate that you're going to be late and be able to give me a time.
Yeah.
One of my struggles is, hey, what time are you going to be here? Right. I don't know. What am I supposed to do with that?
Sit and wait.
I understand that.
Who's sitting there waiting?
The baby mama.
Not this baby mama. I think another thing is understanding. So this is on my list: communication, understanding, consideration, awareness, and flexibility. And you brought up a good point, and this is a real struggle for me. And I have said this before, and it's not to be disrespectful or to discredit anybody. It's just when you are the primary parent, like in the co-parent situation, sometimes it's the mom, sometimes it's the dad. You're there every day. So my responsibilities are not his responsibilities. He does not think about what I think about daily, like bath time, bedtime, homework, projects, getting to school on time, going to baseball practice, going to baseball clinics, going to baseball games. Like, you don't have to, you're not accommodating or mixing any of that into your schedule. You're just basically living your life Monday through Friday. And then on your weekend, you come, you get to kick it and play because there are really no responsibilities on the weekends. Right. And then the kid comes back to me and we have to deal with, like, real life situations.
Well, two things. I think, first of all, baseball requires too much. Because you said like 3 things.
Man, baseball requires a lot.
Too much.
Sign your kids up for football or basketball.
Practice.
Give them some CTE. What's it called?
Yeah. Don't let them play too long. You can play flag football. Isn't that like a professional flag football? Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay, that's not a profession. That's not professional. Okay.
Flag football
it's like
is professional
frisbee.
I bet that's nothing wrong with their brains. Now that I think about it, my baby daddy played football. You think he got CTE?
That's cold.
I'm not participating.
Okay, that's cold.
You got CTE. That's not funny. That's not funny.
It's not funny. CTE is not funny. It's serious, but it does cause you to do strange things.
So can I just submit though?
Can we also submit that you've been married for 57 years and you have no idea what it means to co-parent in this capacity? But go ahead, drop your 2 cents.
I think my wife hits me with the the thing about, even though you exist in a relationship with a person inside the house, I think it's still like a co-parenting to an extent. One person can still feel like there's some unfairness. One person can still feel like I'm doing more. So, like she referenced me as the fun parent the other day, right? I knew what that meant. But I think though, there's importance in that part. You know, somebody, even though, like, I think that your baby daddy included, he has to worry about bath time when he has the kid.
4 days a month though?
Well, 4 days a month is just not. That's 4 days.
Yeah, every other
Yeah,
weekend. That's
about
4 days a month. That's that in my
It's
situation.
not 4 days. You get like a Friday and a Saturday.
You get the Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday. And you take
day.
it back
Yeah, you
Sunday
got to be
evening.
back Sunday before 6.
Yeah.
That's 2 baths. That's 2.
That's 4 baths a month that you got to worry about.
Oh, it's every other.
It's every
Oh,
other.
I can't be a baby daddy. I need to see my babies.
That's what I'm saying.
It's gonna be a problem.
That was my point of it just never being.
I'm taking my babies.
It's never being fair, you know, or how someone could see, you know, could
It's
their
not fair to the
position
baby
could
daddy.
be.
Right, but
I don't think it's fair
and
to the
we-
baby
and
daddy
look,
either
look,
because
what he just
you-
said, we feel that all the way. Cause, well, at least I know I do. Like, okay, you with the kid all the time.
Mhm.
I would love that opportunity, but because of the way the system is set up, when
Okay, let's stop right there.
co-parenting takes
Let's
place.
define the system because
The man,
the
the
system isn't set
government,
up like
the
that. In
DEA.
your situation, it wasn't like that because y'all were
ain't
not
DEA.
together when
Right,
you
but-
conceived the child. But some
What?
situations are.
No, like there's still, it's every other weekend,
Right.
one
No,
day in a
I'm
week.
saying, but that's not everyone's reality. Everyone that co-parents does not have a court order.
but even
But you
still,
got to get a court order just in case.
I mean,
other
it
person
gets
gets
wise.
acting
It
crazy.
gets
People
wise
can
if
change
you
over
the
if,
course
if
of
you
time.
if you don't trust that person. But I'm saying that's not everyone's situation. Some situations are we were in a relationship, someone messed up, right?
Right.
Whether it have been the mom, the dad, whoever,
But
and now y'all live separately.
But who always naturally assumes a child? The mother, always.
I
Like,
mean,
many-
unless you can prove that she's an unfit parent, then you're gonna go with your mom.
I mean, it got to be more than just unfit parent. She has to be
She
like
gotta
an
be like,
evil villain
yeah,
born from hell. She's Hellboy's girlfriend.
I'm not gonna front and say that there are not like men don't experience horrific, you know,
Injustice.
but only
no.
thing.
I'm not. Some situations are bad. You do have women who are filled with hate, evil, bitterness. They don't, and because they feel that way about you, they use their children as ways to manipulate and get you, you know,
So, like-
reactions out of you. That exists. But what I was to go back to my original point, the system. There doesn't have to be. You don't have to have a court order to co-parent, right?
Right.
And like, you have an order. I have an order.
Right.
My order is generic.
I don't have
It's
an order.
Every
You have a wife.
right.
Yeah. She
Shout
just
out
gives
to
me,
Don Chica,
She
the
gives
Don
me
Dada.
orders.
I feel like
She gives me orders.
I need to get Don Chica on the
What's
show
up,
at some point. But anyway, there
I can't be here.
it's every yes you can.
She gonna beat me up.
We're gonna have a couples episode. Me, sweet thing over there. Hey Cam. You and Don Chica.
Okay.
You know?
There's not enough mics.
I
Just saying it's gonna be a
hope
problem.
your
Find
wife.
something.
She can
We
just
can
sit.
share
Y'all
a
can share
mic.
a
It
mic.
could be like on Lady and the Tramp when they was like eating the spaghetti together. We could share the mic real close, and I'm gonna like do something nasty on the camera.
Wow. Okay, cool. Let's get back. So, so your order is like every other weekend and then
Right.
one day during the week, right?
Yeah.
Right, but not every dad or mom, whoever is the non-custodial parent or whatever, follow that. Sometimes they just stick to their weekend.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like for everything that y'all, I don't want to use the word complain, but have a feeling over. Oh, we gotta do all the baths. We gotta do baseball. We gotta do yada yada yada. It's a ton of dads that would love to do that,
But why they're not doing it?
because
You don't have
how
a
many
choice.
situations?
What you mean you don't have a choice?
Okay.
Because everyone doesn't co-parent in the way
I'm
that you
saying, but
co-parent.
if you have you seemingly have a working
Right.
co-parenting
But what
relationship.
but
So
what I'm
I feel
saying
like
is-
if you wanted to just pull up, be like, hey, I want to come do bath time today. I want to be here for homework. I want to do all of that.
Right, you can kind of do that to an extent, but what I'm saying is like we want the same feeling that y'all would have, but like, yeah, we'd be a single parent, but like I would love to have a kid with me, every single day. But to do that for us, that is a legal battle. That's not something that we can just say we want and actively get it. How many women do you know are finna give up their kid to the dad full time just because he wants the kid?
I don't think any parent wants to give up their child.
No, he said women. He said
I
women.
said
We're speaking
women,
specifically
because
about
we
women.
don't have the choice. Because even in my co-parenting situation, I was like, I would love to live with her every day. That's not gonna happen unless we go in front of some judge and do all the particulars.
So do you feel that the woman should have, I guess, because they're a woman and because they're...
See, that's a whole podcast.
Do you feel like they should automatically have custody? I know we kind of went a little left.
Okay, we did go left. We're gonna come back, but do I
That's a
ask
whole
me again?
podcast
Because
right
I
there.
want to be sure I understand.
Do you feel like the default should be what society currently views the default to be, as the woman automatically gets the child? And the only reason why we bring this up in reference to this case is because we talked about these things that the woman is saying, that maybe the primary parent is saying, which typically is the woman. I got to do baths. I got to think about this. You don't have it the same way that I have it. Well, how about the default be the man and I get to complain?
Right.
So it's not a complaint.
It's a complaint.
No, it's not a complaint. For me, it's not a complaint. It's just a reminder that we don't parent on the same level.
Because you're the default parent.
So
I'm not the default parent.
You are. In society, you're default
I
parent.
prefer the term primary.
So can I ask you the question?
Custodial.
You
I am.
are not considered an unfit mother.
I'm a bomb-ass mom.
John, your baby daddy,
Oh,
is not considered an unfit.
You know what's funny? That you could have said just John, and it would have been like a John Doe. Because I always joke that.
Oh, stop.
It's cool.
But your baby's father, society does
My
not consider him an unfit father. But by default, the child went to you. Why? What I'm asking you is, do you think that it's fair for the default to be that the child goes to the mother? Just because you bear the child, you carry the child for 9 months.
It's 10.
10.
40 weeks is 10 months.
10. That means that my half of that zygote, what they call it when they little,
It is a zygote. Good for
that
you.
half. Well, yeah, I almost was a doctor. But anyway, that half of the zygote, my piece of the zygote was in there for 10 months too.
But, okay.
Just because God gave you the tools to carry them don't mean you by default get the baby.
Look,
And then we can switch back.
I will say.
Are you going to answer the question though?
No. I'm going to
Are
say.
you going to trump me?
I'm not. You going to let me.
Huckabee.
I hate when you compare me to Sarah Sanders.
Oh, that's her name. My bad.
Her name is Sarah Sanders Huckabee. Or Huckabee Sanders. Anyway, enough about. This is Black History Month. We're not going to talk about that. I think that naturally people do consider mothers more nurturing. Society. We're talking about society, right? Because you asked me in a very general way.
I did. We painted with a big brush.
We painted with a big brush.
Painted with a big brush.
I'll give you that
More
one.
nurturing.
I can give you that one.
And you, the type of love that you'll get from your mom, I think that society may value that and think of that as more like homey or parental than maybe a tough love you receive from your dad. Now, it's always difficult to...
I'm lighting candles at the house.
It's always difficult to have your parents, not separated, because you do need that balance. You don't get the same love
Mama's
from your mom
cursing and screaming
and your
and
dad.
acting crazy.
Right.
Or it could be vice versa,
Daddy's
but
chilling.
you do
Daddy
need...
Chilling hard.
Chilling.
I think the kid have better
No
quality of
pressure.
life with daddy. You feel me?
Then the kid come over and...
Because Mama's coming in. Ah!
Mommy, not all mamas yell.
You yell.
I do yell.
Okay. Which mama doesn't?
It's definitely not my mama.
Then the
'cause
kid come to daddy house
she's
and I
elevated.
can stretch, I can breathe.
Okay, but see, that's the thing when they come to your house, because what is there to do there? So, like, when I send my
Wow.
child,
It's a fun house. Everything
it
they
is a
want.
fun house. That's my point.
With
You
structure.
don't.
It's a fun house
But
with structure.
are
They
you
don't believe you
thinking
have
about-
structure though.
I don't.
They don't.
We don't.
They don't.
We
They
I
definitely
don't.
have structure.
It's like, what are you doing over there? Like when I send my child away for the
You
weekend.
feel me?
I mean, this
Like,
is my.
why
this
do I
my
have to be
thought.
asked? What am I doing? What are you doing?
I'm
What are you doing?
parenting. You
What
think
am I
we got-
doing?
You think we got straight A's because I'm over here not doing nothing? You think we're excelling in baseball because we are over here not doing
in
nothing?
life,
Like,
though, straight A's and being able to hit the baseball is not the only thing,
I'm saying.
it's-
and that's not the true measurement.
I'm saying
of
my
success
child
as a
is
parent.
performing well in life, period.
He is.
And the majority of his parenting day to day comes from one household.
So you think it's more
That's
nurture
no-
versus nature?
There's also a support system that comes from that household too, though. So it's not all just the one parent.
No,
There's
it's
probably a
not. But
good
I'm just saying
support
we
system.
don't parent. My example of not parenting on the same level
You feel
was that
attacked?
the things. No, I don't feel attacked. It's my show. If I felt attacked, I'd be like.
Real G, stand up.
Well, and that's all for Ashleigh today. You never see these
cut their
Negroes
cameras,
here.
cut their mics.
Nah, Nah, I need to come up with a sound like a signal for the producer. Like
What's it called? Peaches?
A mic cut. Like
Pineapples.
falafel.
Oh wow! Don't use y'all safe word in the space. I feel uncomfortable.
Shout out to Joe Goldberg. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
We need to be back on track because we know.
Oh no, about not parenting.
You
at
feel
the
like
same
women
level.
should be the default.
Right.
You never
I
answered the
never
question,
said
but we
women
get
should be
it.
the default. I feel like it's never. There's not a clear answer on that.
I think women are
I think
great.
it's best for a child to be raised in a space with two loving parents.
Right.
That's what I think. It's just it doesn't always work out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So if by default they pick the mom and the mom is not the best choice, then it unfortunately does have to be a battle for the dad to be like, hey, the child should be here where it's more beneficial for the child.
That mom not being the best choice is like so perceptive because like I can feel like mom isn't the best choice because like I don't think she's doing a good job in her personal life, but she might, by the state, by the government, they might feel like she is. So you have no choice, no chance to be able to have that time with your
She
child.
put on that pencil skirt before she showed up to court.
But
What do you mean she's not doing well in her personal life? Like, what's that to do with her being a mom?
like, what do you? That has everything
What?
to do with her being a mom. Like,
I mean,
okay,
define what it
so
means for her not to be doing well in her personal life. Is she struggling with an addiction?
she could
Why
be,
she got to be addicted?
She
not
could
to be
be
a good mama?
struggling. She could be.
I mean, so I'm saying I'm asking for a
Like the
definition.
threshold for
she could
proving
be
that they're not a good
struggling
mom is
to hold
amazing.
down like a legitimate job.
Thank you.
Okay, a financial struggle.
Because of the fact that maybe she has this burden of raising children by herself, and it might be easier for her to advance in her life if she didn't have that burden. But you know, she's taking on these kids, and daddy over here just chilling. You know, but if dad is like, hey, I want to make life easier on you, let me take care of the kids full time and let's switch roles so you can get ahead in your life. Most women are not going for
So
that.
let me tell you. Okay, so let me tell you how I would feel. I would feel like I failed. I feel like as a parent, it's my job to provide, protect, to rear my child, and I feel like taking him out of my space.
And I think that's what most.
So
would
the
make
man
me
should feel like he failed.
I failed. No, because I've always had my kid. So some similarities between me and Chris' situation. So you had your baby, but you and your baby mama wasn't together, even though y'all had previously dated.
Right.
Y'all had the baby after y'all broke up. Aiden was born into a co-parenting situation. Me and my baby daddy we had broken up before my child was born. So Aiden doesn't know at all what it feels like to have a situation with both his parents. God forbid you divorce your wife, your kids only know y'all being together. So each situation is different. So for me, I would feel like I have been holding this down for 9 years, and now all of a sudden something happens and I have to give him up. Selfishly, I'm not thinking this is what's best for Aiden, so he needs to go so that his lifestyle, isn't like on a discord. But I would feel like, man, I let this happen. Like, I shouldn't have allowed this to happen. I should have figured this out.
But
and I think that's how most women or any parent who has to.
It's most women. Let's be clear.
So,
I mean,
And
I think
if you
majority
failed,
of the
you
women,
failed.
but I don't.
That's like saying the standard. If you failed, you failed. Like
But-
you're not doing good.
and then also
It
just
is what it is.
just
You're
because you
emotional.
fail, just because you fail
What's that mean?
right now doesn't mean
Come
that you
on.
won't be back on track later. If you take
And I might get a baby back.
And I think another fear is.
I'm not though.
But see, that's another thing.
I'm
That's
not.
another thing. What if?
No
what if
take backs.
What if the mom gets her stuff together,
Right.
and now it's like.
By default, you
don't-
don't get the kids because you're a mama. Because you're a female, because you're a woman, by default,
You
I'm
get
just going to be real. I don't subscribe to that mindset because I grew up in a household where I had a mother, I had a father, right? My father was also very, very nurturing. My father was also very, very cooking, cleaning, picking me up from the games. My mom made a lot of money, and she also cooked. She also cleaned. She also was nurturing. But I had the duality of both of them, right? So as I grew up as a man with my children, I'm very nurturing. I'm very building character. My wife might be big on A's. She might be big on things like that. I'm big on, hey, I just want to make sure you're not talking to your sister crazy because you can't talk crazy to people when you grow up. And so I'm big on other things. So what I'm saying is,
But
by
that was
default,
my point.
no
That
person.
that it's always best to have both parents.
But if you don't,
But if
'cause this is
you
a co-parent
don't,
show.
right? Because it's a co-parent show. But if you don't, there is an imbalance.
We know the mother is the best one.
I mean,
It's all
My
good.
mom's the best.
She is.
Shout out to Miss
Miss.
Angie.
There we go.
And honestly,
Hey, mommy.
even like you know,
see how I called my mom
as
mommy? Side note.
go ahead.
Let me get your opinion on this. We
Okay.
talked about this yesterday.
We did.
Aiden will be 9 in April. He is starting to hit me with mama as opposed to mommy.
Yeah.
I feel some type of way about that.
Why?
Because I'm mommy. You said just said shout out to my mommy.
Well, you're so as a default parent raising a son, so this is one thing. You're a woman and you're raising a male.
Mm-hmm.
You mommy, you know that affection, male affection is not the same. I call my mama mommy when I don't know. I grew up in Third Ward. You know, I think area could determine whether or not you use mommy.
Here you go again.
But
you are a regionist. I have
A
just
regionist?
created that word.
That's
You know
a
I
good
call
one.
you a shadist. You're a regionist.
Don't bring up that I'm a shadist
you are.
on national stuff. That's not
You
cool.
are.
I'm not.
You think that people have a
Certain culture based upon where they were raised.
monolithic experience based on where they were raised.
I just like this use of the word monolithic. I think people use
I
it as a way
love the
to
word.
say that you're singular in your thought. No,
You are.
What I am saying is this: take away my whole regionist.
I'm gonna go find
mindset.
somebody in Third Ward that still call their mother mommy.
They probably somewhere in South McGregor.
That new Third Ward.
No, this old Third Ward, just older money. They weren't on the same culture. But anyway, so I call my mom mama, ma. But
Man, Aiden tried to hit me with my one time. I wasn't having it. Okay, you seem to.
she your mama.
You disagree.
You don't,
It's
have
fine.
to, you don't have to be his mommy. Like, he's growing up.
Yeah.
He's maturing. Mommy just don't sound masculine when you say it.
He's 8.
He's not 8. He's a man.
8 going on 18.
All right, so I'm just going to pose this question to all the moms out there, and you just let me know what you feel in the comments. I feel like I want Aiden to call me mommy forever.
And he might in
Hey,
private.
mommy.
He might in
He
private.
does, and that's the thing that I don't like.
But
He'll
you-
call me mommy when we're
so
together,
it's
but when he go
gotta be cool.
outside to, like,
When-
play,
What he look
he'll
like
be
walking
like,
in there?
mama.
What he
Because
look like walking in there with a woman
When
and
he-
she bad, and he walk in there. He
That's
say,
my mommy.
"Hey, this is my mommy." She gonna look at him and be like,
Hmm?
"This old mommy." She gonna get on the phone. This old mommy, boy, I can't play with him. I knew I shouldn't have messed with them.
I knew you going to say it. You want to say it, just
I
go
do,
let
but
it
I
out.
can't. I
With them
can't.
old light-skinned boys.
Ah, I did not say that because she
It
tried
was
to
on
conversate.
your lip. I saw it. It was about to
Nah, I
fall
just
out.
play it, but really, truthfully. You
Anyway,
feel me?
it's okay.
Because my friend who acted up with
I'll-
the child
I'll-
support, he
I'll-
was
We'll
Fair
see
skin
what the
too.
people have to say, what the moms of the world have to say. I mean,
they gonna want to be called mommy. We know that. They want their little boys to be.
my
I
little
don't know.
baby.
Yeah, he not.
They just grow up so fast. I have no idea where the last 9 years went.
He about to be 18.
Wait till you see the next 9. That's gonna be the you're gonna be in for it the next 9.
And with bass in your voice, you can't say mom.
He doesn't have bass in his voice yet.
Mommy. That just sound weird.
I would be okay with
But
mom.
mama.
I would be
sound-
okay with mom. Like, hey, mom. But mama just sound like, hey, yo, mama, let me hold $20. Like, bro, you about to get punched in the trachea. You too aggressive. Mama's aggressive. That's what I don't think I like.
Did you have a problem with walking down the street if somebody said, hey, little mama? Did you have a problem with that growing up?
Yeah.
That might be what this is.
Yeah, I don't. Do I feel like my son is cat calling me?
Trauma.
He mom calling you.
Mom calling me.
That's
Yeah, mama
not-
calling.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's aggressive.
Trauma.
I don't deal well with aggression. Anyway, let's slide on in because we
I really want to tell a
closing in
child
on
support story.
we closing in on time. I just want to say that this episode clearly has to be a series because we cannot touch and tap on everything in the show. And if you have any comments, any feedback, any questions you'd like us to discuss, I know I got a few questions from a few people that I wasn't able to get to because, we like to talk a lot on Ashleigh. So let's slide into the third point. Child support. Dun, dun, dun. So let's start by saying that finances are mandatory and necessary to raise a child. Can we all agree on that?
We can agree.
Okay.
It costs money.
Can we all agree that
Come on, brain fart.
no, it's not a brain fart. I just don't want to
Just say it.
You don't want to step on toes?
No, I don't mind stepping on toes. I just feel like it's almost impossible for you to budget
Mm-hmm.
like
kid?
a number for your kid every month because there's so many ways.
Man,
It fluctuates.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, for me, Aiden is really expensive in the spring because that's when we're in baseball season.
Stay away
They
from baseball.
change bat regulations every season. I'm talking about from fall ball to spring ball, so you always need a new bat.
You chose the most expensive sport.
I
too.
didn't choose baseball. Baseball chose us.
We didn't
You
land
know
on
what?
Plymouth
That's
Rock.
fine. When my baby get that $1 million contract,
Nah,
I'm
baseball
not
like
knocking
100
like I
million.
root
I'm
for
not saying like 1 million. I'm just saying, and it's the highest paying sport.
It's the hardest one to go pro in though.
And is
I
he
mean,
good? Come
he-
on,
he's-
Mom. Is he good,
First
Mom?
question, can
Is
he
he
play?
good? He's good.
Mommy,
He's good.
is he good,
Nah.
Mommy?
Nah, he's good. He's not the best by any stretch, but he's good. He's not. He's noticeably better than the other kids on his team.
So he got that Mamba mentality.
Keep working, Aiden.
I mean, we trying to make sure he's there. Aiden's like a jolly kid though. He hasn't like just dug into the
and
fact
he's
like.
trying to shed that.
I
But
call
Oh, you
you
think
mama.
him calling me mommy
that's
is
step
in the way of
one.
his mama
That's
mentality?
Step one. That's
Yeah.
the first hair on his chest.
Yeah, Mama.
He doesn't have any hair on his chest. He don't have hair on his body at all. Actually, he's like a
Wow.
naked mole
Wow.
rat. Anyway,
Wow.
Mama.
child support.
Wow.
So the price the cost to raise a child fluctuates, and I feel like there's this horrible like taboo on child support. Like I shouldn't have to pay like court order child support. Like that's for absentee fathers, and I don't agree with that. So Chris, you want to talk about child support in the next 8 minutes?
I'm not going to say whether I agree or disagree with your statement. I'm going to just tell my story. So when I was in college, because that was around the time I had my kid, I just went ahead and put myself on child support just because I was like, one, I don't want nobody coming at me in 18 years. and
Because
being
they will.
like,
That retro is no
"Hey,
joke.
You owe, you know what I'm saying? And then two, I wanted to make sure like I guarantee that I see my kid all the time based on that court order because you can't go against the court
So
order.
do you? Oh, okay. So, but do you feel like if you didn't have a court order and you were paying, do you feel like when parents don't pay child support, they shouldn't be able to see their kid?
I feel like, no, I don't feel that way,
Me
but
neither.
I feel that when you don't
You're
pay,
a horrible
when you
person for
don't-
doing that.
When you don't pay child support,
You're a horrible person doing what? Not paying child support?
You keep
or
your kid, if you keep your kid away because the dude not paying.
that's
He needs to
that's
pay,
low,
but you shouldn't keep your kid away.
I
think
agree.
that's horrible.
I just
But
want to clarify.
I feel like you, as a man, you like invite that drama into your life whenever you don't just go ahead and get the courts involved because of the fact
Okay.
that you every person is different and every situation is different, and some people are very spiteful and evil and they do evil things like keep their kid away from you out of spite.
Right.
And with nothing set in stone to negate that, the only thing that you have is your anger and trying to convince this woman to let me see my child. And
Oh.
it's a toxic situation, whereas you could just go to the court, say, hey, here go my check stubs, do what y'all got to do. They're going to give you the paper that say you're going to see him every other Wednesday, one Thursday from 6 to 8. Y'all alternate holidays. Enough said.
So my situation, we didn't start with a court order. We
Right.
were trying to definitely figure it out and see what worked best for us.
Mhm.
But then, sometimes people just show you that, they're unreliable and you do have to
Exactly.
put some things in position that will get people to act right. And most times it's the government.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think that you should have to have a court order for someone to pay child support.
I don't think you should, but I think that when you do things like that, you make it easier on yourself. Because like you said, like we could go back and forth like, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then like if something drastic happens in my life where I need to change the agreement you and I made, then all you can do is just say, okay, because you have nothing to fight that. But if we go to the courts and they say, hey, look, man, every time you get paid, we're taking $200 out your check. You might hate it. He might be like, man, this sucks, but it's going to happen. And there's nothing, and it's going to happen. And it's just, you're not going to have to worry about the financial security about it. He not going to have to worry about
$400 a month for raising a child is securing no one
I'm
financially.
just
Let's
saying,
just be
I'm
clear.
just throwing a number out there. I'm just throwing a number. That was just a random number.
I mean, I'm just saying, especially if you have a new baby, daycare is expensive.
It was just a random
Living
number.
is expensive. Can you survive on $400 a month?
No.
Exactly. That'd be my point. Like, it don't be enough. So that leads me to my next question. If you have a court order amount to pay child support, do you feel like you should contribute over that?
I feel like you should do what you can. That you feel like,
What does that mean though? Because my situation, I may say, hey, this is coming up, I need money for this. And he could say, I don't have it. So then it automatically falls back on me to figure it out.
So you remember
that taps back into that unfairness. Like, why do you get to say
It also
that?
taps
So
back
you
into you, the
remember-
default parent.
I was about to go there. You remember the conversation we
Okay,
had
so
about
I'm
you being
okay.
that, when
That's
you
fine.
choose to be the custodial parent, you assume that extra responsibility.
Now,
So I
think
have
that,
added responsibility.
Absolutely.
That means you have less responsibility.
We've been
That
clear
means
about that.
okay. So that means if that's the point, then I shouldn't have to consult with you about certain things. Like I should just go out here and parent
is
without
it only based
consulting
upon
with you?
finances, though? And see, that's the problem. I think that when you utilize the finances as the defining thing on about whether or not it's parenthood.
I didn't.
But I'm saying
that's not what I
like,
did in this
because you
moment.
stretched that thing
But
though.
it's like
you
you
No,
stretched
I
it.
just
kind of
asked-
leveraged it like, all right, if
Also,
I'm paying for this, that means
if you can't put
I
in
don't
on the
gotta
backs,
ask you
then
about-
No, I didn't say. I'm saying there is a option for you to say I don't have it, whereas there's no option for me not to say.
there is. There's an option for both of us to say I don't have it.
No, if
Now-
it's a need, we gotta figure it out.
No. See, needs. Now, I think this is what happens when you live in a house where you have both the mom and the dad, right? Learn this from my brother-in-law. What my wife believes my children need. When I had my first daughter, first time having a girl, never had my older sister, 9 years old. I didn't know this. My wife came to me and said, our daughter needs some white sandals. She needs some silver sandals. She needs this color sandals. She also needs some black Mary Janes. She needs some white shoes. I was like, those not needs. She needs a pair of shoes. You want for other pairs, and you want borettes and coordinating outfits for all of those things. So what I learned from that experience, and I think what happens in co-parenting, and I'll just use this in this way, what women believe a need is, culturally, a man may not believe a need is. So when you come to me and you say, hey, let's just use Aiden. Aiden has to register for spring ball, and spring ball costs $300. We got to pay that by the 25th. Can you do it? Me, the man in a separate household, I have my own budget going on. I look at this, just like if I was in the household with you, I would have a budget with you. I look at the situation and say, I don't have $300. You spaz out because you're like, you're not being a good parent.
I never said that.
I'm not saying you spaz out, but just what I'm saying. The woman may spaz out and say, you're not being a good parent. You're not contributing over and above. You just think that this $400 that you give me for this stuff going to take care of everything. No. When you said Aiden has to do spring ball, no, he does not have to do spring ball. You want him to do spring ball. He cannot do it because I can't afford it, and I'm trying to have good credit so I can pay for Aiden to go to college one day. But you are looking at it like he got to have
$150 contribution to spring ball gonna make you have bad credit.
Listen, what I'm saying is $150 contribution to spring ball will make you have bad credit if you paying $150 on a bill that you have to pay where they report to the credit bureau. What I am saying is this. The problem is what you desire as a need may not be a need. Now, I am a supporter of child support. I'm a supporter of a man spending more money to take care of his children. In reality, than what the child people require them to pay, right? Mm-hmm. I think that the child support is really, like my man Chris did, it's really just a tool just to make sure, just in case, whether you're the man or the woman, the other person gets to acting crazy, you still get to see your kids. That's really what child support is.
And it really covers you financially, too, because you could go, like he said, like year 17 and file child support on that kid. Mm-hmm. And the first question they're going to ask you is, do you want retro child support? Like, do you want child support for the past 17 years? So and I mean, if you mad, tool. At 17 years old, you obviously mad. Right. So you about to get your bread.
It's a protective tool. And I think that when you become, now if you start just basing this on what this really should be, whether you're married or not married, it's for the best interest of the child. And if we can agree for the best interest of the child that this is what we should do, then we should do this. Now, each person has to be mature to understand that maybe the other person can't contribute.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So let's say, because this was an interesting thing on social media, like when Sierra married Russell Wilson.
Balling.
And the thing was, should Future have to pay this amount of child support for his child?
Absolutely.
Because she married a very well.
Absolutely, bro.
That is not what people on
Russell
social
Westbrook
media
may fly.
Russell Wilson. Russell Westbrook's wife's name is Nina.
Russell Wilson may fly the coop. He's not responsible for taking care. Now, as a man, we get biblical. He's taking over that household. He's responsible for that woman and her children. But he also is still Future is still responsible for his child.
Right.
Just because she married a rich man, you don't get to
mean
tap out. And then
rich.
on top of that, brother, you're rich too.
I mean, is he rich? Don't he got like 11 kids?
I don't care what you
Still
got.
rich.
I still
Can
he's
you be rich with 11 children?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you can. You can.
I guess I don't listen to Future, so I don't know.
Now, a lot of people listen to Future probably about 5 years ago. He made a lot of money, I'm sure.
Multi-millionaire.
He made a lot of money. But I do believe in paying child support. I also believe that child support, I being married, knowing how much money it takes for my children, to move my children. One quick experience I had, one of my best friends, one of my good friends, he complained about child support for years and years and years and years. And one day I went with him to go pay the child support. I get there. He comes back. He shows me his receipt. His receipt was like $320. I said, bruh, have you been complaining about $320 all these years? I said, if I could get away with spending $320 on my kid, bruh, my daughters will do $320 in a day.
That's
day.
what I'm saying. So that's what my question was. Do you feel like you should contribute over that amount?
Absolutely, because if you've ever had the experience of having your child full time, which I have had, you know that this little minuscule, I don't care how much child support you pay, bro, $1,500, $3,500, whatever you paying, $3,500 cannot move a household with 3 kids in it, whether she got a job or she doesn't have a job. I know somebody about to pay $3,500, so I use that. I know some people paying $1,500. $1,500 is nothing. Like, that is nothing. Even if you pay $1,500, like, bro, are you serious? I wish I could get away with that. If I get away with that, I'm gonna be like, oh, happy day. Oh, happy day.
But that's actually the point I was hoping that you would make, because we've had this conversation before, is that it takes a lot of money to clothe the child, to house the child. And kids are expensive, and kids today have a lot more needs and things that we didn't have, and especially our parents didn't have. So like,
I spent $50 on a spring, a winter ball dress last week. I was like, what the heck is winter ball?
They went to a winter ball last week.
Winter formal. Something
I
like
guess January is fine. You know, living in Texas, you just had your seasons be off.
Right.
Your seasons be off.
It's my championship season, though. I just want to say that.
It's your championship season. Oh, okay. Cool.
I know
Anyway,
I ain't got nothing to do with this, but okay.
it's fine. But yeah, it takes a lot of money. So like, my kid plays sports. He's in after school activities. I like for him to be active. I like for him to go places, experience different things, and those things take money. But you made a good point where that may not. I value experiences, where his dad may not value experiences. His dad may just value necessities. Like, did you eat? Did you bathe? Do you have clothes?
I think most men
I'm
register
also
with
very
that.
particular on how
That's
I
what
dress
most
my
men
child,
register.
but
Come
you know
on.
that.
I know you do a lot.
I can't just, you can't be out
I
here
would.
just to know.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't want to
know
contribute
anything.
to the extra stuff that you do. No.
What extra stuff do I do?
These your experiences, the way you eat, and all that. If you ask me for extra money for that, I'll be like, hey, listen.
Let's
did
just
you
be clear.
experience-
I don't, and if I have,
know
it's
you
probably
don't.
been like a handful of times I've requested an additional contribution. I am a figure it out type of person to a fault. Like, whether it comes from Aiden, whether it's from me, like, I'm going to figure it out because I want what I want. You know what I'm saying? Beyonce said, I see it in now. Okay, cool.
Want it.
Right.
I grind till I own it. Own it.
You know, you in your championship season. I'm in my ownership season.
Come on, Oprah.
I am.
Tyler Perry Studios.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Real estate. What we buying?
Everything. Because
Everything.
everything for sale. That's where I'm at. Everything's for sale. Anyway.
I fall back. Dead emoji. Dead emoji.
Let's we're gonna have to wrap this show up. Like I said, you guys, if you have anything that you want to add to the show in the comments, please feel free to let me know. This will be, I guess, essentially this is part 1 of That's Just My Baby Daddy. Maybe next time it'll be That's Just My Baby Mama, or
Oh.
Can I come back though?
yeah, sure,
wanna,
you can be the resident baby daddy.
I'll do that.
You want to bring your baby mama?
No.
You want to bring your baby?
Oh, you trying to get me in trouble?
I'll
Nah.
do
I might-
somebody else's baby
I'm-
mama, but I don't want to bring like my own baby.
Who baby mama you gonna bring?
I'm not gonna, whoever baby mama you bring up here. Then I'll sit and chat with them.
Okay.
It'll be
I
more
have
fun
an
though if you bring
idea
your own
of-
baby mama.
I'm saying.
Man, we can talk off the camera.
Okay, offline conversation. Anyway, so let's go ahead and do last shot as we close every show with the last shot. So I'm gonna do the last shot today. We're just gonna shoot to loving your kids.
Ah.
Okay, because that's all that matters. You got an empty cup.
Yeah. I do. My cup is empty.
All right, last shot, guys. Thanks.
But that's because it
Cheers
overfloweth.
to- Not with whiskey, though.
Fake shot.
That's it for episode 2 of Actually Ashleigh. I hope you guys enjoy. Leave us your feedback. Please be sure to follow me on every social media platform: Facebook, Instagram,
And Actually
YouTube,
Ashleigh, the podcast.
Spotify at Actually Ashleigh, the podcast.
Hey.
Until we meet again, guys, peace out.